Innocence Initiative, a non-governmental organization based in Nigeria. I'll be making this presentation titled Edu-Toons and Edu-Games, Leveraging Animations and Games in Formal Education. Before I proceed, I would like to do a brief introduction on Edu-Toons and Edu-Games. Edu-Toons and Edu-Games are educational solutions for primary school learners that present curriculum-based subjects to them using animation and games. They are designed to provide education for out-of-school and displaced children and are considered COVID-19 educational solutions. Back to our presentation. Formal education is an organized form of learning delivered by trained teachers to learners within a school system. It's formal education if it's directly connected to the educational progress of learners, if its quality determines the academic outcomes of learners, and if its academic outcomes are based on access to qualitative education, ensuring that actual learning and effective assessments are taking place, ensuring that educational content is relevant for life and work skills, and ensuring that educational delivery is standardized and qualitative. Critiquing formal education. Why should we critique formal education? We should critique formal education because the success of formal education is believed to be strongly hinged on the existence of a school system. So we'll be critiquing formal education in three areas. The channel. Can learners only learn effectively in schools? Second, the process. Is traditional classroom teaching the most effective process of impacting knowledge? And three, the feedback. Is it only our traditional assignments and test systems that can effectively measure actual learning? In light of recent happenings such as the COVID-19 pandemic, there is need to urgently consider other effective channels, processes, and feedback for formal education that can cater for all categories of learners, irrespective of factors militating against school attendance. Bridging the gap in formal education with animations and games. Here, Edu-Tools and Edu-Games play a vital role, and they do this because their channels are not dependent on the existence of a school system, but on the existence of mass media channels such as televisions and phones. Their processes, likewise, are not dependent on traditional classroom teachings to be effective, but on storytelling, problem identification, problem exploration, and carefully sequenced problem-solving stages. And their feedback mechanism, too, is not limited to the traditional assignments and test systems, but to the ability and speed of learners to solve simulated real-life problems and also identify their own learning gaps individually. Leveraging animations and games in formal education. Why should we do this? We should do this because animations and games capture learners' attentions better and for longer, and they can make actual learning quite faster, and they also help learners in acquiring critical skills such as problem solving. Leveraging Edu-Tunes and Edu-Games in formal education. Now, apart from the previous benefits noted in incorporating animations and games into formal education, Edu-Tools and Edu-Games also can awaken learners' curiosity about different aspects of a problem to stimulate them to holistically approach problem solving. They also can influence learners to adopt healthy lifestyle choices and equally influence learners to mimic their favorite animation or game character in their problem solving styles. Edu games, for clarification purposes, are educational games that will make use of the same characters, backgrounds, and style as Edu-Tunes for its assessment. I'll do a quick presentation on Edu-Tunes and Edu-Games, and I'll be doing it with this series titled Louis Pedantic, which basically teaches all our mathematical lessons. This episode is titled Fractionate In. Now, it begins with a short narrative. What is this story about? What lesson are we about to learn today? What's the problem about? Then it moves to the problem identification stage. In this instance, a mom gives her children a huge watermelon to celebrate the Eat Fruits Always Day, but the kids have no idea on how to share it equally, and so that's a problem, and they decide to go and meet Louis Pedantic, who helps them to solve that sharing problem. And he tells them that the problem of how to share needs the solution of fractions. And he also tells them that if they were to share the fruit in a haphazard way, then sharing wouldn't be fun and fair. And then he goes on to explain the concept of the denominator and also the concept of the numerator, and thereafter telling them that Each of them will be having 1/4 of the watermelon when it is shared among 4 children. Now comes the stage of the problem exploration, and the kid asks, what happens if I take 2 pieces instead of a piece? And then Louis Pedantic equally explains that since the fruit will still be shared into 4 pieces, the denominator will remain 4, but the numerator will change to accommodate the number of pieces you are taking, and so you'll be taking 2/4 of the whole watermelon. And then comes another problem exploration. What if another kid joins us? What then? And then Louis Pedantic says, now the denominator is going to change because we're going to be having 5 of us, and then the amount you'll be taking will be based on the piece that you are taking, and that would just be 1/5 of the whole watermelon. How can you support Edu-Toons and Edu-Games? You can support Edu-Toons and Edu-Games through collaborative networking. We need more hands. Please, we need teachers, animators, game designers, researchers, name it. We need them to develop learning and assessment content. We also need finance. We need financial support to produce at least 60 lessons of mathematics, English, and basic science subjects for the first dissemination of learning and assessment. And thereafter, we need mentorship. And we desire mentorship opportunities with organizations and individuals who are passionate about using animations and games to educate children. Edu-Tunes and Edu-Games can contribute meaningfully to combating the absence of learning by primary school learners globally by helping them access curriculum-based learning and assessment relevant for life and work skills, even though they are not attending school at the moment. I'd like to thank you for making time to listen. Thank you again.